right, well, we'll go ahead and get started then. So my name's Janessa, and I work for this nonprofit here called Every Neighborhood Partnership. And I'll share a little bit more about what we do, both in literacy and outside of literacy in a moment. And then also on today is my coworker, Gabrielle. Um, and she's probably going to stay with us just to kind of help man the chat box and help us navigate things. So Gabrielle, you want to say hi?
Hello, good to see you all.
Yeah, and Gabrielle's our admin, and she's been super helpful, like trying to get all of this up and running. So thanks, Gabrielle. And so as we go through the slides, if you'll mute yourself, so mute is in the top right corner of your face, mute and unmute. So just keep yourself muted unless you're wanting to share and talk, which there'll be time for that too. And then we'll also be typing in the chat box. So as we're going, if you have a question, you can type that in the chat box, and then we'll come back around to it. All right. So starting off first, would you just go ahead and type in the chat box? So it'll be on the bottom of your screen, but that arrow is just pointing what it'll look like. Will you type your name? And this is just to help me take roll so I can look at it later. And then if you were a literacy mentor last year, where were you at? And if you're new or if you're returning, just how are you feeling about the potential of connecting with students virtually? Awesome. And so you'll see where those names are popping up. So if you'll type in your name, if you were a literacy mentor last year, what site? And how are you feeling about connecting with kids virtually? Awesome. I'm glad you're excited, Marco. And Sue, I knew you looked familiar, so glad to have you back. Yeah. And Tracy, appreciate that you're just giving it a go. And so I appreciate all of you just for joining today. And I've told many volunteers, like, listen in today, and if it's too overwhelming and not the right fit for you, it's okay to say no. But I appreciate you just being open to listen and hear about it. And Jan, good to see you. Awesome. And we love retired teachers, Dion. We have quite a few on here. And it's a hard time to be a teacher too. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. All right, and so just make sure, I think everyone got in there, but if you'll just make sure at least to type your name, that'll help remind me later who was here. This is kind of like your sign-in sheet, so I don't forget anybody. All right, so during today, we'll go first through like what ENP is, and that's for, I know some of you are returners and some are new, but just to give you all a sense of who we are. So like the bigger picture of what ENP is, some highlights from last year, and then we'll get into the details of what you'll do virtually, some Q&A, and the next steps. All right, so ENP, those of you who are newer, so we're a nonprofit. We started about 12 years ago with the Well Community Church was partnering with Susan B. Anthony School downtown. And our boss, Artie Padilla, was just a volunteer who was doing a lot on the school campus, getting kids involved on the weekends, helping out in classrooms, talking to parents. And soon other churches were like, hey, that's really cool. We want to do that with a school near us. And so it eventually became a nonprofit. It didn't set out that way, and it just, that's what we became. And so started with churches and schools, but now we work with lots of people. So we work with businesses, we work with college students. Really, our goal is just to equip you to serve schools and neighborhoods. And so now we have 4 main departments. So our recreational resilience team, they do things like, well, when school was open, they did things like Saturday sports. So playing with kids on a Saturday, opening up green space for them, and using volunteers to do all that. Literacy mentoring, which you're here for today. And then our neighborhood development team works less with volunteers and more with residents within the community. So their goal is like underserved, impoverished neighborhoods, like let's find the leaders within this community and equip them to help be the change in their own community. And then citywide equipping. And we put on like big training, just trying to bring Fresno together and do training and events to equip the community to be helpful. So that's overall who we are. And this is our overall vision, basically just to see a happier, healthier, wholer Fresno. And these are some photos from our neighborhood development team. They worked in the Vang Pao community with some residents there that had a big alleyway in their neighborhood, and they wanted it to be safer and cleaner. And so they all worked together to clean up the alleyway and then even paint it and just repurpose that neighborhood or that area to be like a safe place for kids to play instead of a unsafe place with lots of trash. So it was cool to see the neighborhood work together to do that. So that's a little bit about EMP overall. Any questions there? Just wanted to give you a brief synopsis. All right. So now about literacy mentoring. So it started knowing this percentage. So 47% of Fresno County third graders are reading proficiently. So it used to be in the 30s, so it's moved up. We're close to half, but still half is not where we want to be. And we look at third grade because we say that up until, those of you who are retired teachers, you'll know this, but up until third grade, kids are learning to read, and after third grade, kids are reading to learn. And so really, if kids aren't caught up by third grade on their reading, it's a lot harder for them to fill in that gap later on. And so that's why we focus primarily on kinder through second grade and some third graders within this program too. So with the little ones. And we call our volunteers literacy mentors because we want you to have both the passion for literacy and the heart of a mentor. And so you meet with kids, when we were in the classroom, you met with kids one-on-one, which allows you not only to like tailor the learning specifically to what they need, but also to build relationship. And so sometimes kids just need a moment to have someone who just gives them undivided attention and who listens to what they have to say and lets them just talk about how they're feeling. And so I think even with this being virtual, you'll still meet with kids one-on-one. And I think a big part of it is just the relationship. So even when you meet with kids, if they just need to talk about their day and show you their pet hamster and like just talk about how they're feeling, that's important because not all kids get that undivided adult attention. And so these are some highlights from the program last year. So we were in 26 schools at 133 classrooms and some community centers doing after school programming because we started with Fresno State, a Read Fresno program. So we had 269 volunteers. We expanded to doing some Spanish at 2 dual immersion sites. And then these are just some different feedback. So I think, this is important. 98% of teachers rated the program as highly valuable in helping them reach the goals they have for their students. And so teachers really appreciate you all. And now we're just looking at, even in a virtual world, how can we still be an asset to those teachers who are working extra hard and trying to figure things out? How can we still be an asset to them? And so now what? As most of you know, all of Fresno Unified, Clovis Unified, all the schools are all virtual. So no kids are on site. Some school sites are allowing teachers to teach from their rooms. So you'll see cars at schools occasionally because of staff, but kids are not there. Kids are all at home. And so with kids all at home, we know these are some of the needs in the community, like in the midst of COVID. People are needing to feel connected, there's a lot of anxiety, both with adults and with kids. I think about it a lot. It's been a lot to process as an adult, but I can only imagine as a kid walking around and seeing everyone with a mask on their face. You can't read facial expressions. You don't know why you can't go see your friends. Why are you at home all the time? It's a lot to process as a little kid. So we also know the educational gap, sadly, is just widening during this time. That the kids that you all worked with, those of you returning, the kids you worked with last year, they're in this time probably falling only further behind because it's hard to learn online when you have a learning disability or when you live in a home with 6 different siblings and you're all trying to find a space and get the right Wi-Fi. It's sadly the kids who are behind are probably falling further behind. We also know that food's a need, that just many households are just in need of basic necessities. And we also know that like Wi-Fi and connectivity is a need. So if you'll go ahead and type in the chat box, how have you seen people creatively try to help fill the needs during this time? So it could be any of those needs, or just, yeah. So have you seen people at your church, your neighbors? How have they worked together to help fill those needs? Yeah, some food distributions. And I'm guessing some of you were able to help out at those. I also know I heard from Jan about some neat things she did with her neighbors. I don't know if she's typing it in there, but she had told me her neighbors did like some, like a bubble party, like stood out front of their house and all blew out bubbles, like just trying to build connection even when you can't be close to people. Yeah, just having, again, yeah, having still building, people need connection. And so I love the creative ways of trying to connect with each other. Awesome. Well, so as we thought about literacy mentoring, it's set up like as it is, it's set up to build connection with kids and to still support academically. So even in a virtual world, doing it all virtually, it's set up in a way that you're still able to meet with kids one-on-one and help them process and talk through things and be a listening ear and still help them academically. So it's meeting those two needs. But if any of you are interested in helping with food distributions, or also we've been working with some churches on setting up learning hubs where they like allow kids to come in and use their Wi-Fi and yeah, have a safe, quiet space to work. We can always talk about that. So if you're interested in helping with either of those, let me know, and that would just be a separate conversation. All right, so a virtual literacy mentor. So still a passion for literacy and the heart of a mentor, just now all online. And so you'll see like, here's me meeting with little Aiden, and we'll see more of him in a moment. And we're going through our sight words, which is what we used to do in the classroom. And now we're just doing it online. So you'll notice those of you who are returning, some of it looks the same. And those of you who are new, it'll be a lot to process right now, but it'll come together. So remember, at the heart of it is you're just giving kids space, you're giving them connection, and you're helping them learn some basic sight words. And here we are, sight words. So sight words are also known as high frequency words. And these are the main words that you'll be practicing with kids. And they're words that kids really just have to memorize. So they don't always follow the rules. So like the word to. If you're an early reader and you're trying to sound it out, you'd go t, ah, ta. Well, no, that word's not ta, that's to. So it's really just a word that kids just have to memorize. And once they know it, it'll help them become that much more of a fluent reader. So go ahead and type in the chat box. What do you, there it is, yeah. What words are in that sentence are sight words? So in this sentence right here, take a guess. Some of you probably know all of them, but take a guess which of those are sight words. Yep, like is one of them.
I'm not sure how to get to the chat. Oh, if you have to have a number 1 and then you click on it, is that it?
Yes, yeah, where the number is.
Okay. Let's see if that works.
And then you'll see what people typed in. Awesome. Yes, so we got most of them. So within that sentence, Those are all sight words except for the last one. So
Yeah.
if kids know their sight words, then you can imagine they'll get through this sentence so much faster because they'll be able to go, I like to play with the, and they might have to sound out basketball. But versus a kid who doesn't know their sight words, they might know I, but then they'll already go, icky, licky, likey. And if they're having to sound out each word as they go, then they won't be able to read fluently. Like it'll take them so much longer to get through a sentence. So that's the power of sight words, is we just really want kids to know them and memorize them, and they'll become much faster, more fluent readers. Any questions on sight words so far? Okay. So in the program, there's 3 different levels. And so this first booklet is kindergarten. It goes through the ABCs and then through their sight words. The second booklet has the sight words for kinder and first grade, because a lot of our first graders need those kindergarten sight words. And then this third booklet goes for second grade. So kinder, first, and second. And you'll have, so in the classroom, you would have had a booklet for each kiddo. Let me see if you can see, yeah. So like here I'm showing you, like this booklet was for Aiden. And so in the classroom, you would have had a physical booklet for each kid. They will not have a physical booklet with them just because it's going to be hard to get booklets to them, and they'd probably lose them anyways, to be honest. But if you would like to have physical copies for the kids you're working with, it would let you, so like the inside, it shows you like the words they're on, and then dots to mark like if they know it or need to practice it. So if you would like physical copies, we can get you some, and that way you can kind of use them as a note space for yourself. But just wanted you to see the progression. So like if you're working with a second grader, they're probably behind, so we'll probably start them on like first grade words, but the goal would be they'd pass this booklet and get into the second grade booklet too. So it goes kinder, first, second. And so, like I mentioned, so you can have a hard copy for each child if you'd like. And what's different from people who were mentors last year is you will be the only mentor for that child. So I know when you were in the classroom last year, lots of different people saw those kids throughout the week. We'll be pairing you with just, you'll be the only one for that child. So we'll pair you with like 1 or 2 kids each, and you'll meet with them once or twice a week. But you'd be the only one who meets with them. So you'd be the only one who's taking notes and keeping track of where they're at. Does that make sense? And so then there's also a virtual format of these booklets that you can show the kids. And that virtual format is online. And so I sent you all this website earlier. I don't know if you had a chance to look through it. So you'll want to keep, did you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, no, okay. So you'll want to keep this website handy. So you'll think of like this website, it's everyneighborhood.org/virtual literacy mentoring. And I'll go ahead, or Gabrielle, you want to put it in the chat box? And if you want to pull it up yourself, feel free. So this website is, I'm thinking of it as like in the classroom, you used to have a kit, like a box you worked with all your supplies. This is kind of like your box now. This is the box of everything you need box. So on this page, it'll have like before each session, reminders of what you should do. And then right here, it has like what you're going to do with each child. We'll get to this, but the 4 easy steps of what you'll do with the child. And then all of these different yellow spots are things that you can open. So I can open this as a PDF, and that's the About Me page. And so that's an About Me page that me and the child can do together. Or here is the emotions page. And so that's the PDF that has different emotions that I can work on and talk through with the child. And if you scroll down here, here's the booklets. So like, here's the kinder one. There's some Spanish ones because of our Spanish sites. So here's the kinder booklet. And in the hard copy, it would look differently. It'd be all inside of here. Let me show you from the other one. So here's book 1 for first grade. So this is the first grade hard copy. and here's the first grade in digital. So you'll see it matches. There's the turtle, and here's list 1, and it has a list of sight words. And in the hard copy, here's list 1, and it has the list of sight words. So these digital ones are what you'll pull up with kids, and this is what you'd use to take notes if you'd like. Does that make sense so far? Any questions? Okay. And so this website, again, you go down here, everything that's yellow is something you can download, and it's something you might use to work with kids. And then all down here too, these are different playing activities. And so these are different things that you can open up and play with kids. These are little flashcards that you can use this with a child. Hey, can you find go? Circle it. Oh, I'm gonna search for like. Where's like? Oh, I found it first. I circled it. And I'll show you where you'll put all these things, like what the classroom space will be. But I just wanted you to see where you can find all the different activities that you can use.
Janice, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
When you showed all the word lists, would they show like that? Or if you're on list 1, would only list 1 show?
One at a time.
It'll show. So you'll have to pull up this whole, you'll have to pull up the whole thing.
The whole list shows. Okay.
You could zoom in, to part of it for the kids. But yeah, the whole thing will show up, and you'll just go, it goes down this way, and so we'll go through, oh, do we know all these ones? Great. And then you go to this one. So yeah.
And when you said zoom in, can you show me how I would do that?
Yeah, do you see how, so on my, I'm on a laptop, so I just like spread my fingers apart and it zooms in. I think on a desktop, I think it's at the top.
You can.
Yeah, so here, do you see I'm pressing the zoom in button? It's a plus sign down here on the bottom. I'm hitting plus sign to go in. And so depending on what format you're on, I'll show you how to zoom in on the space you'll be into in a moment. So
okay.
Yeah.
I did have another quick question. If they absolutely know the word, without any hesitation, I know we did that. You had to do it 3 or 4 times. I don't remember now. Can we sort of move that along if they're a 2nd grader working in a 1st grade book?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
And so like what Judy's mentioning, the goal is that, oh, sorry, let me find the right tab. The goal is that they know those words within 3 seconds. So we want them, we want to know, like when they come across these words in a sentence later on, we want them just to know it. So if they're having to say go, then that means, well, let's still practice it. But if they can say the word I, go, and, can, if they can say them pretty fast, then it's time to move on. And what's different this year, Judy, is you'll be the only one who's working with them. So you'll really get a sense of like, oh, they knew that. Like, let's go on. Any other questions about this site? So what I'm going to show you right now is a video. So we call it the 4 easy steps. It's basically, so like when you're working with a child, it's just you and the child for about 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes max, but you'll get a gauge of like what they can handle. If they're starting to get tired, you can just cut it short. And so that's the nice part too, is now that it's all virtual, you'll be doing it, they won't be missing like direct class time. So it'll come after their direct class time. And so you can cut it short or you can keep it longer if they're having a good day. So about 20 minutes or so with each student. And during those 20 minutes, this is the 4 easy steps are what you'll do with the child in that 20 minutes. So you'll connect with them, you'll review, you'll play, and you'll assess. And so knowing those words is not that important. You don't have to remember the words, but just the general premise of like, I'm going to get to know the child. We're going to review what you know. We're going to practice them a little bit, and we'll see if you still remember it. So the general premise of what you'll do with that child in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to show you this video of what it looks like when it's online. And we're on a space called Tutorfly, and I'll get into Tutorfly in a moment, but think of Tutorfly as like the classroom that you're using. So that website I showed you was the kit, was the box where I got all the stuff I needed. And then I put that stuff into Tutorfly, and I'll show you how I did that afterwards. But I just want you to see what I did with this child. And the cool part is I had it already set up. You can go in and set it all up before you even get the child online. So you can get it all ready to go, so you don't have to like try to find things once the kid's in there. Does that make sense? Tell me. Let's see. All right. So how are you today, Aiden?
Good.
Good to see you. Remember, when we're working together, I love how you're already sitting in your chair like you're ready to learn, and don't try to wiggle around too much. We want to make sure we're still so our brains can do some thinking, okay?
Okay.
All right. And do you have a paper and a pen with you? Or a pencil? Can you get a paper and a pencil? Or a pen, anything to write with. So we're gonna connect. Okay, and so first thing when you sit with the kid, just remind them, like if they're laying down on a bed, like, oh, let's sit up. Let's remember how we're supposed to sit. It's different because they're at home, you know, so help. And then like, oh, are you in too loud of a space? You wanna go somewhere else? Help them, just remind them how, you know, sitting ready to learn looks. And then decide if you need them to have paper for that day or whatever supplies they might need. I'd tell them up front, like, okay, I'll go grab what you need. I need you to get a paper and a pencil, or any other supply you might want them. I wouldn't ask for like a whole lot more outside of that, but just depending on what they have in their house. So, and then I asked for the paper and pen, and you'll see why, because I'd already pre-decided like what activities I wanted to do with him. And I knew for one of them, he was gonna be writing. So I was like, oh, I know you need paper, so I'm gonna ask you to go get it at the beginning. So then the first step is connect, and connect basically just taking the time to get to know each other. So you'll see me, I asked him some questions from the About Me page. You could do that. You could also just ask like, how are you doing today? Draw a picture of how you feel. You know, what'd you do in school today? Just time to get to know each other. Connect. Remember in our little booklet, last time I asked you about your favorite food, and you told me that you like to eat rice. And so this time, Aiden, I want to know, what do you want to be when you grow up? You could either draw it on your paper, or you could even draw it on here. Do you want to try that? Do you see how to do that? You could draw what you want to be. Do you see how I'm drawing? You can do that too.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Can you try to draw it?
Yeah, I'm going to try it.
Okay, just try your best. Ooh,
I'm
drawing.
using my mouse right now.
Perfect. You drew a line across. Ooh, I'm gonna guess. I think you're drawing a TV to draw.
I never did on drawing on computer.
It is hard. And so even just this is a nice chance we're drawing together. He's drawing Fortnite because he wants to be a video gamer. I don't know if you all have heard of Fortnite, but he wanted to be a video game creator. And so we're drawing together. We end up writing Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Says night, Fortnite. Very cool. And mixed in a little, you know, the I blanky, you talked about how it's spelled. So that was just a little time to connect. And so again, however you want to do that, you could do that through the About Me in here, or you could do that. There's emotional vocabulary. And both of these pages too, I could have pulled them up from our website and showed them on here as well if I wanted to. But I just decided to leave the white space. So, good job. So, if you want to be a video gamer when you grow up, then you've got to work hard because you have to do a lot of reading and math and science to be a video game maker. But you could do it. And I wrote it in your book, so I can remember later that that's what you want to do. Yeah. So last time you already passed all the way your first 4 lists. Good job. High five. Can you give me a fake high five? All right, so look up, I'm gonna switch. Awesome. You already passed list 4. And so you'll see at the top, there's these tabs within it. So this first one was a whiteboard, that's what we were on. And then I'd already uploaded, so this page right here that we're looking at, remember I got it from the website. and then I uploaded it into here. And so I already did that before Aiden even got in there. That way I was already ready to go. And so he's in the book 1 and he's on list 5. And so I already had it preloaded. And I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to try list 5 together. Okay, what's the first word say on the top?
Is.
What's it say?
His.
Good. What's this one?
Are what.
Keep going. Close. That one's want. What's the next one say?
Does. Do. Good. Help. As. Where.
Ooh, you got that one. That one was hard.
And to.
Wow. So look, as you were reading, I filled in the bubbles. You're passing your words. You knew so many of those. So in the book, we used to have multiple people see one kid. And so we'd keep track in the book with the bubbles as to how well they knew it. So we'd bubble it in one time for each time they knew it. You can use it however you want. It's just, I used it as like, okay, I'm going to highlight the ones he needs to work on, or it's just, again, my note space as he was going, I noticed like, hey, he didn't know want, so I circled it and just kept track of like which words we needed to work on. We just have a couple. And so then now during your time together, you practice like maybe 2 new words, 2 words that he didn't really know. So I noticed he messed up on want. I think he said where. So during this time together, we practiced want and we practiced where. And then I had pre-decided that we were going to play this game like a speed race. And so you'll see us play the speed race right now. Well, to practice, we're going to practice want and has. I'm going to hit add new whiteboard. Now it's fresh and clean.
So you are okay.
And so you can always add on the top then too, and I'll show you how to do this, but you can hit add and it'll let you add a new whiteboard space. So I could have used the old whiteboard and just erased it, the one that said Fortnite all over it. I could have erased it all, but instead I just added a new whiteboard so it'd be nice and clean.
Again?
I was, but I'm home now. So we're gonna do want. That's the first word we're gonna practice. What word is that?
Want.
Want. And I'll show you once we get to it, but you can type on this whiteboard or you can draw. And what are the letters in want? W,
Okay.
A, N, T. All right, so grab your paper. Remember I told you get a paper and a pen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a pen.
A pencil's fine. That's fine. And I have paper too. And I'm gonna write, we're gonna have a race. So I'm gonna put the timer on and we are gonna set a time for 1 minute and we're gonna see who can write want the most times in 1 minute. Ready? So what are you gonna do?
Write one in the most minutes.
Yep, and I'm gonna do it too and we're gonna see who wins. On your mark, get set, go.
Oh
no. W-A-N-T, want. And so we're both just writing want, but because I put it on a timer, now it's a game, you know, and now he's trying to beat me and see if he can write it more times. And I already, in my head, I knew I was going to play that. I didn't know want would be the word he needed to practice, you know, but I knew like, oh, whatever word he needs to practice, we're going to have a timer and we're going to write that word. And so we go through, and I think he ends up writing it 11 times and I wrote it 10 times, so he won. And then we did one more activity together. So we were writing want. And then we did one more activity together. And this was, I had pulled up again from that other website, like where the kit is. There's some passages, and this one goes with list 5 because he was on list 5. And so we go through and read this passage together. Tool. So click up here and click the little button that says thin. And can you circle, find the word want? Where's the word want in here?
Only one time?
I don't know. Let me see how, do you see it? Oh, you found it. That was so fast. Very good. Let's see. Does it say want any more times in here?
I'm gonna check.
Oh, wait. Is this want?
No. Yeah.
Let's see. Is it W-A?
Oh, no, it is not.
It tricked me. And so we just go through and find, the words that he'd been practicing and circle them in the passage. And you'll notice he starts drawing all over the passage a little bit, which is fine. He's they can draw around. And then I showed him how to erase it. And then we read it together.
Oh, he lost the bat. He lost bat.
Oh, like he lost it. Oh no, it's not good. How do you feel when you lose things?
Every time I lose a thing, I can't remember where it is.
Yeah, that happens to me too sometimes, and it makes me feel sad. Okay, go ahead and read it. One.
Okay. One day, Ben
Ben.
was sad. Hi, Ben. What do you want? I said, I lost my bat. It was a very good bat. Can come help me look, please? He said.
Yeah, so how was Ben feeling?
Sad.
And why was he sad?
Because he lost his bat.
Exactly, good reading. Okay. And so as they're reading, you want to ask them questions, see if they understand it. You can help them read. Again, this is just a passage that it has a good mix. He's on list 5. So here is list 5. And that was the list that he read at the beginning. This one with the his, our, want, blah, blah, blah. And this passage has a mix of those words in it. So it's nice practice for him on those sight words. And then after we read it, I asked him at the bottom of it, there's some questions. Let's see if. Outside, right where he left it. All right, we did a great job. We practiced the word want. Do you remember?
I tried to find it.
Yeah, where'd he find it? Oh yeah, so here we go.
Outside.
Solution. I asked you a couple questions. So what was the problem in this story? What was the problem?
He lost his bat.
You're right. And what was the solution?
Lucian said it was fine, try to find it.
Yeah, where'd he find it?
Outside.
It was outside, right where he left it. All right, we did a great job. We practiced the word want. Do you remember? We wrote want a bunch of times. Where did we put that? Here was want, we practiced. We also practiced the word where. Remember? We saw that one in our writing too, where. So, what's this word right here again?
This word? Want.
And what's this word?
Where.
Very good. All right, so we're gonna check your words one more time. This is like our test to see which words you still remember, okay? So we're gonna start right here again. Go. And so it's like rounding out the session. So we started with this list, seeing what he remembered, and then we round out back to that same list, testing to see what he still remembers. If you don't get to this at the end, you don't have to. I just like to round it all out. Like we started here, let's see what you still learned, and let's end here. So we go down, and again, I'm listening for words he knows within 3 seconds. And so as he's going, I'm looking at my page and making notes on that about what he knows and doesn't know. Go ahead and read this one.
Is his R one where does can
what's this?
Good help as where look to.
Very nice. What's this word again right here?
Where or want?
What? Yeah, close. Where's down here and wants up here. So we'll practice those some more next time, okay? And as you were reading, I was just marking which ones you remember. And now I'm going to put a star by where and want. So I remember that we need to practice those, okay? Oh, I love your happy face. Hey, Aiden.
Yeah.
On your paper, can you write down want and where? These two. Will you write them down so you can practice them before I see you again? Write down that one.
Oh, wait, no.
But I want you to write it on your paper. Oh, you actually already had want. this paper. Remember earlier you wrote want a bunch of times?
Oh, yeah.
Can you also write where on your paper next to it?
Okay, just one of them?
Yeah, just one. And so that's just optional practice. And then the nice part about them being at home is eventually you could always ask like, hey, can you go grab, your mom or your big brother, sister, grandma, like who's there with you? And you could have them come over and like, oh, so today we practiced want and where. Do you think he could look in a book at your house and try to find want or where, or have him write it a couple times? Like you can kind of get them involved too. And just be a support. Or he just wrote it himself and I told him, practice those because I'll see you in a couple days. So those are your words to practice. And you'll notice we practiced want that whole time and he still said where. So don't feel like a failure if like they don't get it in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So he didn't get it in those 20 minutes. We'll practice it again next time. So any questions on those four? Like again, I'll get to how I set this all up, but just on like that timing with the kid. Any questions on that? Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Okay.
I had to get up when you
I'm
actually went to the virtual learning. So I know you said you would show us that again, how to get the kit into the Tutorfly.
Yep, and that's where we're going now. Yeah. So these are the two websites you're really going to need. So this one is the one I already showed you. This is everyneighborhood.org/virtual literacy mentoring. I'll send it to you in an email too. This is the site that will have all of the things you need, like the booklet, the different game ideas, all of that will be on here. And so save this and you can download this you can start looking at this now. Like you can look at that at any time and play around with it. You can't break it, so play around. Then what happens is all the stuff on here goes into Tutorfly. And so Tutorfly is kind of like it's like Zoom, I guess, would be, like it's a space. It's like the virtual space. So Tutorfly gives you the space, but we have the materials. Does that make sense? It's like if I were to log into Zoom, Zoom doesn't have everything I need. I got to put what I need into Zoom. So this is what you need, and you're going to put it into Tutorfly. And a little bit about Tutorfly. So they're just like a new small startup in the Bay Area that they originally, they pair tutors for pay. So people go on there and they get paid to be a tutor. They have donated the space to us though, because they just want to support early literacy. And so we're using the space for free. But whenever you go to Tutorfly, you have to go to this website. Like if you just go to tutorfly.org, their original website, it'll be their original website about getting paid. You know what I mean? And so you're a tutor under our special ENP part of it. So you'll want to go to this address. And so when you go to this address, and if you all go right now, you won't have a login yet. You know what I mean? So you can't log in yet, but I'm going to show you as I log in. So it'll look like this. Once you're on it, you want to make sure you're on Every Neighborhood Partnerships Literacy. You log in. That's my info. You'll put in again, you're not logged up yet, but once you're set up, you'll have this info. And you log in and go to dashboard. And so this is your dashboard space with your like upcoming sessions, the sessions you completed. Right over here is where you book a session. And so all of you right now, once you're set up, you'll automatically be paired with demo account. Eventually, when you're paired with a child, their name will come up here too. So it would say demo account and it would say Mariah Rodriguez or whatever that child's name is. And if you decide you want to meet with two kids, both of their names would be here. So it'd be demo account and then their names. But right now, and so demo account is your practice. So you can go into demo account and play around and I'll show you, and it's just your space just to practice. So I booked with demo account. We type in literacy mentoring is what we're doing. It's online. You can type in whatever date you want. I'm going to do it. And just to practice, just put it anytime ahead of now. Again, this is just demo, so it's just practice. You can put it for any time. It doesn't matter because it's just practice. And then I hit book session. And then so it's successful, I made it, and then it'll show up here on your upcoming sessions. So I'm doing literacy mentoring with demo. Eventually it'd be I'm doing literacy mentoring with Mariah or whatever your kid's name is. And then you can click to join the session. And this is the cool part, is you can go ahead and set things up ahead of time. Join, and it'll ask you about your speakers. Just say like yes to everything. And because I've already done stuff with demo, it saved what I did. And so this stuff was already in here. Because it'll just save it. Once you like make a space with you and that child or you and that demo, it'll save what you did. And so this is where it automatically opens up a whiteboard tab. On the whiteboard, you can choose your color that you want to write in. Maybe you want to write in purple. You're going to click the pen, you click thin, and then you can draw on here or you can write. Then this right here is the move one. So I can pick something up and I can move the whole thing around. I can select something and move that around. This is the erase tool. So just click around on the tools. That erases stuff. Now I erased it. This makes shapes. If you wanted to make a shape, there's a triangle, if you want to use that. This is text. And so this is where I can go ahead and type in my sight word. Some of these are not for us. Like again, Tutorfly, I do. So like equation tool is if you're doing higher level math. You're not going to use that, but it's there. Upload is where you can upload an image or a PDF. And then some of these you don't need. Here's a zoom wheel right here. I know Judy had asked about that. So I can zoom in on things. I can zoom in again if you want to zoom in somewhere. And then we can zoom back out here too. So that's if you feel like, yeah, it's too big. And whatever you're doing, the kid will see it too. So you see how I'm here? The kid will be here as well. But on this demo one, there's nobody else in there because it's just me practicing. But it's giving me space. I'm doing everything I would do with a kid. I'm just practicing it. If you feel, yeah, any questions about this whiteboard stuff right here? If you wanted to practice, well, like with a real human person, you can hit invite others and you could send this space. So I'm going to copy it. You could send that to anybody. Like I could go ahead and send it to Gabrielle. I'm going to email it to Gabrielle real fast. Gabrielle. This is just for practicing. You don't need to do this if you don't want someone else in there, but I'm going to send her that link. And then Gabrielle, you can go ahead and join in for a moment. Again, this was invite others. You won't use that for the kid. This is just for practicing. If you want to invite somebody else, so you can, like your husband or your brother or child or grandchild, if you wanted to practice with another kid in here, you could. You hit invite others. Any questions about that? Okay. So Gabrielle might join in a moment and we'll see her. And if there's too much static, we'll cut her out, but just so you can see. The way we get these in here, so I had already put them in the last time, so they're still here. And remember, these are all things that I got from this website. So remember, this is the virtual mentoring website. You have to download these PDFs to your computer. So you like save them to wherever you need to save them on your computer. And then on here, you hit add new document. Well, oh, not new document. You can add new document, but, oh, and there's Gabrielle. And you could put add import PDF. And then it shows me different documents. And then I put it into here. Now it's uploading it. And so now you can also see, do you see Gabrielle's? Oh, yeah. Too much static because we're opening two things. Maybe get out. So you can also see where Gabrielle's cursor, like she was on here as well.
We froze it.
Oh,
We froze it. I'll exit out.
okay. Okay, am I back? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you again.
I think we were doing too much. We were together on Zoom and on Tutorfly. You won't be doing that. So that was just too much for the system, but just wanted you to see how she just popped in and I could practice with her. And so what this plus arrow is where you can put in import a PDF, or right here is also where you could do it, upload a PDF. And that's where it'll pull up those other, so you have to download them from, and there's a video on this too. I'll send you some training videos, but you download them from this website to your computer, and then you upload them into this space. Does that make a little bit of sense? And so I had uploaded this one just now because I wanted this in here. So this is the kindergarten one. It's kind of big, so I might zoom out a little bit, and then I can put here and move it around a little bit too. So this button right here for moving. So if I want to move it over here, you can move it around. And then again, all these things, you and the child can draw on them. You know. And when you upload it, yeah, go ahead.
I missed, my phone is connected somehow. I got a phone call and it took away everything on my screen. So I've turned my phone off and I've come back, so I missed some. So I apologize if I'm asking a question you've already talked about. But it looks like you were saying that you could have PDFs that you actually made and put on. Like, could you take that multiple lists and make the same with only one list, so that if you wanted to have less, depends on kids' attention. Some kids, if you have all that there and they are ADD, it's like kind of hard. So you could make something and put it in a PDF and then upload. Is that what I heard you say?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't want to put too many things all over this website. You know, if I put everything, I don't know. So, but you feel free if you want to adjust some of it or make it smaller, or if you find other things online that you think are a great resource to practice the word what. You found some, you know, if you found some like neat worksheet on the word what, you could save that to your computer and then you can upload it in here and do that with the child. So yeah, feel free to use other materials too. And when
do you upload these things before you start to your computer?
Yes.
So that you have them to pull in with this child? Yeah,
and actually, so I would both get it to your computer, and you can even get it into this room. So like, you know, when I got in that room with Aiden, everything was already on here. It wasn't all blank. Everything was in here for him. And so once you have a session booked, you can, so like this is a practice session with demo. I just arbitrarily put Wednesday, September 9th. It doesn't matter because it's just practice. It's not real. But you can join it beforehand. So even though, and then that way, since you can click to join, and then whatever I do in here now will just save. So it'll still already be there.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you could join, you know, an hour before your time with the kid or whatever you wanted and put in everything you want for that before they join.
Did you say you have some learning videos that could teach us more of these, just the maneuvering through the...
All this, yeah.
What was it called? Shutterfly? What was it?
Tutorfly.
Yeah.
And so I'll both email them to you, and they're also going to be on this site. there's one, and Gabrielle's going to upload some more within the next couple days. There'll be some more training videos down here. So there's one, but there'll be a few more. And I'll email them to you.
Okay. Boy.
How are we feeling overwhelmed or feeling?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's a matter of doing, yeah.
Yes,
Learning by doing, yeah.
it is. I appreciate your willingness just to try. So, and then we will join you, like me or one of our staff will join you for sure on your first time with a kid. And then going forward, if you're like, I still need help or I want someone else to join with me, we can do that. So one of us will for sure join you on your first time. Okay, I'm going to close out of that. So yeah, remember, these are the two spaces you're going to need. You're going to need both. You're going to need, this is again where everything is that you need, all the different tools. And then this is the space where you'll actually work with the kids. But you've got to fill it up. When you open this originally, it'll only have a whiteboard. It'll just be like, blank, a blank slate for you to decide what to do.
So I guess the real first question is, like, how soon are you hoping we'll start? And how many, will you just give us one at a time so we can kind of decide whether this is going to work? And honestly, the other question I'm wondering is, I'm wondering if it's not a fit with a particular child and you're not able to feel successful,
So,
then what?
okay.
Yeah, those are good questions. I'll get to like when and how we'll start in a moment. I'll get to that. But in terms of, if you get set up with a child and it's just not working out, let me know. And like, I think we would maybe join a session with you to like see if we're able to help a little bit. And if it's not helpful, then we'll just switch up tutors or we'll switch it up. So don't feel stuck. And if you give it a try, and then, hey, if you give it a try and you still made connection with the family and now you just want to be pen pals, you could still be in contact. You could still just be pen pals and you made a connection, so you're not stuck. I would ask, give it more than one day. Like if the first, like give it and it takes time to build connection too. At the beginning, you're just this random person. But as the kid sees you, like, oh, I've seen that lady. I saw her on Tuesday. I've seen her every week. I've seen her, as they get to see you more and more, then they start to know you and then they open up, just like any relationship. In the beginning, they're kind of like, who are you? I don't care about you. And as they get to know you, they'll, that. You're a former teacher,
I guess on that also, just in terms of the demographics of it all, it is, if you have committed, if I decide to make that commitment, but then I'm going to be gone for a week and I miss, like, how does that work?
Yeah, I would just let the family know. We wouldn't do like a sub, you just skip that week because it's too confusing to get someone else to fill in and try to meet somebody new. That's too hard. So you just let the family know ahead of time, like, hey, I won't be here next week, or I'm sick, and just communicate with that with them. So now,
I have a question about timing. So I'm assuming this is taking place at the end of the day, or
yes, good question.
and do you do it on a day that you're available, or do you do it on a day that's assigned? How do you schedule that with the teacher?
Yeah, so the kids are in class with the teacher from 9 to 1 or so. 9 to 1 for some kids, 9 to 2 for some kids. And so teachers have asked, just because they don't want to take away from that time. It's already shorter than what they usually have. So they've asked that we either meet kids early in the morning, like 8 to 9 a.m., sometime in there, or after 1 or 2 o'clock. And then as far as like, so yeah, it'd be either early morning or after 1 or 2. And as far as like what days, that is up to you and the family. And so once we'll we'll give you their connection point so you can contact them, and you all can decide, we want to meet Tuesdays at 2:30, or we want to meet Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:30. And you can adjust.
Do you have any experience in what time is good? Like, because the kid needs a break after 2 o'clock, I assume. And like, is 4 o'clock too intrusive into their free time, or 2 o'clock or 2:30 too soon after the 2 o'clock cutoff? Or do you have any experience on what's good, or is it just kid by kid?
Yeah, and this is all such a new world that, yeah, I think it's kid by kid and family by family. I think some families would rather keep it all like go straight. You're still in school. It's still your school day. Like if the kid goes away, and so they might want it right at 2 o'clock, like let's just keep rolling with school. And some would be fine with the break. So I think do what works for you and them. And then you can always adjust it too. If you find 2 o'clock is too early and or whatever is going on, you can adjust it. And do remember, they will be tired. Like this has been a long, a lot of school time. So even activities where you can have them stand up and like, let's stomp out what? W-A-H-T, W-A-H-T, like, or W-H-A-T. Like if you get them moving too, that will be good. So think about that. Like what activities could you do, or put on a song and like, we're going to dance together first and get all our wiggles out. Okay, song's over. Now we can sit and learn, so think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other thing you have to think about too is you don't want them in front of the computer screen for too many hours, because they will get tired from that as well. And the idea of getting up and moving around is a good one. However, you want to be aware that it's not a good idea to be staring at that computer screen for too many sequential hours.
Yeah. And during that time with their teacher, like the 9 to 1 or 2 that they have, it's a mix. It's not straight looking at their teacher the whole time. So the teachers also, there's times where their cameras go off and they're working on some activity, or they had to go on a quick scavenger hunt around the room to find something that starts with a B, so teachers are thinking about that too. So yes, but yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, they have asynchronous time with the teacher, but you still want to be aware of that and talk with the parents about what they think is going to work best.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, overall, yes, the parents I've talked to are just like, they're still worried about their kids and they don't want them to fall behind, and so I think they're grateful to have a little extra support. So, and that is what you are, like helping be a little extra support to fill that gap. So, so on communication, so we will give you parent contact info, so you can just call or text them directly if you're okay with that. But if you don't want them to have your phone number for whatever reason, you can also communicate through Tutorfly. So Tutorfly will send you and the child a text like this, like when you create. So it would say like, a new Tutorfly session has been created with Jan Drent, and then it would have the info and then the button they click on to start in it. So it'll send you a text and an email, both you and the child, when you book a session, and it'll also send you reminders about the session coming up. If that's all too confusing and you don't mind having your phone number, you can also still call them, but you'll still have to make a session in Tutorfly. You know how I showed you originally the book a session button, and you'll find their name and you hit their name. So I just want you to know this is a private option to communicate with families. Some training videos are coming. We showed you earlier. There'll be some more. This is again the KIT website, the Virtual Literacy Mentoring look through this. There'll be some more videos too. So volunteering virtually. So consistency and communication. Pick times and stick with them. So try to, it'll be easier to build consistency if you can try to be consistent. Of course, things will come up with you, they'll come up with the child, but as much as you can try to stick to Tuesday at 3 o'clock is our time, it'll keep things more regular for families too. We'll also give you the teacher's info. And so when you used to be in the classroom, you got to see the teacher. Now you won't be seeing them, but they know you're meeting, like they've still chosen kids that need help. So you're meeting with kids that the teacher says needs extra help. And so we ask as at least once a month, send the teacher an email or text or whatever. We'll give you their info about like, this is how so-and-so is doing. This is what I'm thinking they, are they, and then that way you're just wondering what, if they're seeing similar things. You can communicate more often than that, but just to give them a heads up of like where you think they're at and see what they think too. And then try to connect with parents just be supportive. They're stressed out too. So just be supportive, or if they let them know what you worked on, here's an idea to practice with them. Don't give them too much work. They're already stressed out, but just try to connect with them a little bit too, which I think is a neat part, is that when we were in classrooms, we never really got to know parents. So this is a whole new reality that is actually kind of cool. Like there could be really neat relationships that come out of this. Also, if parents don't want to talk to you too much, don't feel bad. That's okay. Like you're still helping the kid. So it's not a must, it's just try. For safety, just so you know, so all the sessions on Tutorfly will be recorded. We won't be watching them, but they're like so if something were to come up, like, oh, so-and-so parent was upset or you're upset or something happened, we can pull that session up and like watch what happened. And so that's for your safety and for the child's safety. And if you see anything, like you're coming into families' homes, so if you see something or hear something that concerns you, I just ask that you like talk to me or to the teacher first before, like you calling CPS is an option and that might happen, but like we ask that you talk to us first and kind of get a sense of like, did you know this about the kid? Have you heard this too? Like, what do you think we should do? And we can move together from there. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we don't know. We're going into families' homes, and so it's just a different reality. And then like I mentioned before, you can be partnered with someone else. So like this photo shows, it can be you and someone else. So think about that and let me know if that's something you would prefer, or at least for a little while. Any questions about this page? Okay.
I like the idea that the sessions are being recorded because volunteers generally have to have criminal record clearances to get into the classroom, right?
Yes, and we'll get
So,
to, we still,
this is good.
yeah. Yes. Yeah, so go ahead and type in the chat, how are you feeling now? Do you feel excited, worried, confused? Just a quick, all feelings are allowed.
I've lost my name.
Uh-oh.
And so the chat would be where that little one red popped up. Awesome. Yeah, we're feeling excited, intimidated, but interested.
I don't know how to send that. Oh. I don't think my chats, am I supposed to maybe click everyone? Where it's going to?
Yeah, click to everyone. Yeah, and then you'll
To
get,
everyone.
and then where it says type here.
I don't think they're going to you.
Go down at the very bottom of that little white box. It took me a while to figure it out.
Where it says chat, I clicked on that.
Yeah, but down at the very bottom of the white box, underneath where it says to everyone, underneath that is where you start typing.
Yeah, I typed, but I don't know how to send it
Press
away.
enter.
You just
Do
push
what?
the word send.
Send? Do return?
Yeah, return.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I typed before, nothing got up there, so, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Well, I feel like we're all in different spaces, feeling different things. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I had a question on how the kids are picked. Are they referred by the teacher? Are they referred?
Yeah.
So the teacher would have had some conference with the parents saying that I think your kid could be helped with tutoring. Is that it?
Correct. Yeah, correct. And so, yeah, the teachers are still, they're choosing who they feel like could benefit from the extra help.
Okay.
Do we assess them at our first meeting where they are, like with the sight words? We do the initial assessment?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that first time you'll kind of even have to get a sense, yes, depending on their age, like look through the letters first. Do we know all our letters and our sound? And then I'd start at list 1, like the very beginning. Let's see which words you know here. Because even if there's a second grader, there's low second graders that are still need help on early words. So, and you don't have to tell the child, oh, these are kindergarten words. They don't need to know. Those are the words they're working on, and that's where they're at. So, encourage them, don't point out that they're behind. Don't point that out. Just encourage, this is where we're at, and this is where we're going to keep building from here. Okay, so next steps. So I'll email this to you too. You can, I don't know if it'll let you click on that yellow or not, but I'll email it to you. It's this is what's going to get you onto Tutorfly. So you'll need to fill this out. And this is also what'll have the waiver for the video release. So in that, it'll say something about videos. You need to say yes, that you're okay with being recorded. I think, oh, you can't click on it. Okay. Well, I will email it to you then. Then also, as you think about it, unless you know right now, you'll email me, or you can type in the chat box if you know right now, like about how many students you would like. And if you're a returner or not, like which grade, kinder through second grade, or if you're a returner, I know some people feel strongly about certain teachers or like want a teacher. So you could send me that. And then also if you'd like to be paired with a volunteer or not. Again, so if you know all these things right now, you can type it in the chat box or you can email it to me later. So how many students you would like, and we're recommending you meet with a student. This is based upon you and the family, but we're recommending that you meet with a student twice a week for about those 20 minutes, if you can. So if you and the family could decide, like, we're gonna meet Tuesday at 2 o'clock or 2:30 for about 20 minutes. And if it needs to scale back to once a week, it can scale back to once a week. But remember, you're the only one doing the tutoring with that child. There's no one, like when we were in the classroom, different people came when you weren't there. So now it's just you. So if you feel like, hey, that kid could benefit from a second day, like do a second day if you can. And every session will be no more than 30 minutes, 30 minutes at the very max. They're gonna lose, don't push it beyond that. You're gonna lose them. So 30 minutes at the max, but I would even do 15, 20. Yeah, you'll get it. And that's up to you. When you can cut it short, when you feel like they're done, time to be done, you can cut it short. So if you were picking one kid, that'd be like an hour a week, maybe like 30 minutes-ish here, 30 minutes-ish here. If you want to see 2 kids, that might be like 2 hours a week. And you could do them back to back, maybe like 2:30 and 3, 2:30 and 3. It's just a thought. So think about that. And then if you're new, I'll also email you our EMP application, and that's just the nonprofit I work for. It's so I have your info and stuff. If you did it last year, you don't need to do it again. And you'll also, we mentioned this earlier, you'll also have to be fingerprinted if you have not been. So I'll be sending, you'll get fingerprinted with FUSD. We used to do it outside of them, but now they're providing the funding, which is great. So it's free for you. They'll contact you if you need to be. So sometimes people are already in their system and you're fine, so don't worry about it. And if you were fingerprinted with us last year, you don't have to do it again. So this is just new folks. So I will email all that to you. And then what happens then, so once you're logged into Tutorfly, then they will send you an email with your account this Friday. So every Friday is when they'll be making an account. So if you can fill out the Tutorfly thing by Friday, then Tutorfly will send you an email and you'll be paired with a demo account like we saw, and you can go ahead and start practicing on Friday or from there on out. So you can go in whatever you want and pretend making a session with demo, uploading games, creating a session. It's your thing to practice with. And then eventually, once you're feeling like you're ready, we'll give you the teacher contact info and we'll pair you with those kids on Tutorfly. So like when you click book a session and their name will be there, we'll give you their, and then you can start scheduling times and we'll join you on the first session. Any questions about, that's a lot of words, a lot of talking. Any questions about all that?
Well, I have a question because I volunteer with the League of Women Voters during the elections. And I'm wondering if, like, do you do it on a semester basis? Or, because I think that will take up most of my October. So, do you do it on a semester basis? Or if I wanted to come back in after the election, would that work?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say if you want to come in after the election, I'd maybe start then in January. Because I think trying to start
Okay.
mid-November with like Thanksgiving and Christmas, like you'd barely get, that'd be a hard time to start. But if you started January, that'd be good fresh.
Okay, that's probably what I need to do.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Just, I will not remember. So email me in January.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can definitely, and then we'll have all the kinks worked out. So,
Yeah.
but you still feel free to fill out some of these papers now if you want. I'll still email that all to you.
Where do we get your email from?
Yeah, I can put it in the chat box. And I believe I have all of your emails. So I'll email you directly too.